So let's go with it. What we'll cover in this session, it will be a small one. So we'll be touching the purpose, how to use wireframes, small demo, Q&A area, and of course the confirmed followers section so that you can connect with the Go to Fastlane team. Okay. So first things, what is the purpose of wireframe? When we go for a wireframe, at what stage we are already done with the requirements part, and we are now moving towards the more designing aspects, that how will the actual software product or website or any system would look like to the user. We are not going on the prototype part, which is more design oriented with gradients and colors. We are just going for the base layout, that where should be the buttons, how many buttons would we need, how many images we would be like to have, what will be the average size and layout of the screens, and all stuff. When we think about wireframe, we just have to think about frames. It's little frames. Every component has a single frame, and connecting them all into one single place we can consider as wired frame. Moving ahead, what it typically means, it is a visual guide that represents a skeletal framework. Skeletal because it is not the final, neither it anywhere touches to become an actual final product. It is only on the developers and designers or actual team that works on the project that knows how it will look. But if the same wireframe is presented to the client or the user, it will not be a much sensible part on their side that how this will look, because they cannot imagine it from the technical sides. Next point, wireframes are created for the purpose of arranging elements to best accomplish a particular purpose. For example, if you think of a software, for example, Microsoft Office, there are so many features you need to present in a single screen. But if you go for like displaying every single block one by one after another, what will happen? Eventually or sooner, you will get shortage of space to represent all the icons. Rather, you will start grouping them. And once you start grouping them, there can be a chance that you group them so much that it becomes so difficult to find out where they are. You have to be sensible over there. You have to keep a quick action area also. So that kind of trade-off that we play around our systems, we accomplish that using wireframes, so that we have exact idea how much, what area, and how much allocation of the screen layout will be given to particular elements. Let's have an example of how wireframes looks like. So this is a small example of wireframe. Above over here, if I can have a pointer, yes. Above here, this is a standard wireframe of, you can say, a simple software. For example, this can be a representation of, this area can be the Zoom chat area. This can be a screen sharing elements. This can be from Microsoft Office Word or something. The menu bars and all stuff usually made for the standalone softwares. Then here, if we come over here, we can see this is a standard app layout. We will be using for mobile apps development when we will thinking. So as you can see, there is nothing, no colors. There are no colors. There are no direct images. There are just elements that we use, like checkbox, areas, separators, notification areas, keyboards. We are just referring those items, that how will we placing them. That's why creating them is a lot quicker. It gives so much clarity on the project and how it will look like and how to develop it, what should not be using, what should be used. It gives a more trade-off between the must-haves, could-haves, would-haves, and won't-haves. So we also follow the Moscow principles over here. Apart from it, you can say for like grouping and all stuff. When you are thinking of grouping all your features, so we always get confused that sometimes these two features are so relevant, we cannot decide that where to put it, which category should it belong. So in that case, while we are designing a wireframe for it, we already know how many elements one category has. So in order to keep the distribution of features into multiple categories balanced, so that not a single category does not get very less elements and the other gets a lot more, we try to make the balance. And that's why we know in the wireframing process that yes, we should move it to the other category. It will be more sensible, and also it's relevant, and it will be good enough to move it to other side. Moving to the next side, here is an example of scrolling time ranges. We can go for any other options also. Like for example, we could have given 3 text boxes, but that doesn't connects much to the user, because they are already familiar with the system interaction, system UI screens. Like for example, this one is relevant to iOS, I guess. So this is more iOS user, but also of course nowadays Android also uses similar concepts. So we can go for those things that user is already familiar with, so that we don't need to explain much. They already know it and they just get started using it. Another aspect that you need to cover is like this is the most simplest example. I would say this is not even UI for most of the part. It is some kind of representation of a admin dashboard. And this really helps a lot, because when we actually start creating such dashboards, the one trouble that we encounter with is that creating those illustrations takes a lot of space sometimes and takes too less, and arranging those elements in the development side and codes part becomes too tedious to handle. So that a single MVP product creation takes a lot of time. Also debugging time is too much more, even with dummy data. Right now, even with dummy data, and when it comes to real time data, it's a whole level of different trouble if not handled well. So that's why we go for wireframes for a quick review and clarity, and also a reference, because being a developer and being a technical person, we always get into things so much that we kind of sometimes forget a few minute things. So instead of writing them, jotting them down all over the area or your workplace or your notebooks or your diaries and all stuff, we kind of go for visual representation. And this is one of the most primitive. This is not neither a prototype, neither a requirements document like a complete textual format. It is just completely balanced in between those two. Let's proceed with this. Now, how to use these wireframes? First of all, wireframes make it clear that it is not the final design. It is just a rough placement. Also, you can do it right on paper, no issues. It is generally more often used on paper already, because it is more rough. It is completely rough. So many changes apply on it. If the layout is not so good, it is immediately changed. There is not so much hassle to change that layout. It is just a simple box. You have to just recreate that box. Not a big deal. But in case of prototype, if we create a prototype and that layout we try to change, it takes some hours. Human resource hours are compromised over there. It consumes the precious time of development. Moving ahead, wireframes make it clear that it has no code has been written yet. Yes, why this point is so crucial? Because whenever there is some kind of code written, it also comes with some dependencies of language and framework. And if those dependencies have come, that your thought process starts to get restricted by those elements. For example, if you have created a small demo code in PHP, you will stop thinking for going for any JS, JavaScript or any other framework at max, because being a technical person, you will know that it will be a more tedious task to combine them, and you might try to deprioritize them even though they are good enough. So that's why it's better to go with wireframes, so that you are not thinking about the technical aspects, but focusing on the real thing, that is the main product that we want to build. Next things comes up is wireframes convey that this is all up for discussion. What is being said here is that we kind of lay down the things instead of just jotting down into points and points and points and making a lot big list. We create a small visual representation that we cover by single component, and we then discuss and brainstorm on things, that how should we finalize this part, how should we finalize that part, should that be a good color for that, should that will that be placed in this much amount of pixels. That all is discussed later. There are no concrete designs finalized at this phase. Wireframes are completely rough. It might seem strange, but they are really so much rough that you don't need to even worry about scales, viewports, designs, layouts, uh, modern frameworks, material principles, and all. Nothing like that. They are just simple layout. For example, if prototypes are to be called as an MVP, wireframes are to be called as Lego pieces that children can play with. Even a beginner should be able to get started with wireframes, so that they may have clear idea how to proceed with it, what are components to be covered. So here is a little small demo on wireframes. This one belongs to blastmic.com. So let's have a look on this. I hope you all can hear it. Okay. So this is the Blastmic complete software. there are already almost all the components that we will ever need. I'm sorry. I think I should reduce the system volume. Yes. So this is so simple. Even for making a button, it takes a lot of efforts in Android because you need to actually create that button, go to the properties, change the XML values, and then you get a simple button. But for a wireframe, that's not the case. We are going just simply what we need, what we put onto, data we want to take over there, how much length of those data, how we will be showing at once and after pop-up. We are kind of creating a mental map of the whole app, which only we can understand as a technical person, but for a naive person would be completely abrupt or vague description. So just a few changes of lines here created a few truncated the data. Can create new checkboxes in just ease, and in a few seconds we will be creating multiple screens at once just because we can just select all those elements and copy them. Again, the beauty of computer science, the copies and pastes. Okay, this is the serialization systems that how those elements are being listed. Just because after an hit enter, it considers it to be a new element in the list. It's that easy. Adding buttons is also so simple because we are not going for technical sides. As a UI wireframe perspective, those are just circles with a plus sign. So here we can see at this point it was something else. We created a app with such a big title, but we later realized that this title might abrupt the flow and there will be no space for other buttons. Just in a few seconds, we changed the layout and added a hamburger menu and a plus button for adding a note onto the app. These things actually happen only when you go for something like this, called as wireframes, and going for a prototype is the next step. We have to stick to the wireframe as much as possible so that these structural differences are sorted out in the first phase, and more of the uh, layout differences, or you can say actual flow differences or user experience changes, are covered in the next step, that is called as prototyping. So this is a simple illustration for the screen will look like once the menu is clicked. The menu expands, the screen takes away half of the space, and then other elements of the menu come up. There are a lot of tools out there, and Blastmake is one of them. And but still sometimes it's even better to go for paperwork and those paper pieces, because that's really worth it. You can actually create overlay one over another those paper strips and create a whole UI out of it without even adding colors or going for any technical perspectives, or I would say even opening your laptop. You don't even need that. You just drew some icons, place them all over over and above one after another, and you created a whole UI. And what you need to adjust the placement, just move those spaces and you can click it, or maybe you can just stick those paper pieces together to make it final. So that's all for this session. Any question answers are appreciated and welcome.